Now we see customer and order information in the header. Of course, we now want to see the items. So first, as usual, go to the data definition. Currently, the data definition has the top and the customer. So we now say we want to have a new data segment, child segment, and this child segment we call these are the items. In the item, or I call it item without plural, item, we now say, okay, we are searching for, sorry, I have to first click here, order item, and this is the entity order item. Now, same story again. Which are the order items which we are interested in? These are the ones, of course, which belong to the order. So we say where item number, well, the item number is the one which is specific to the item, 1, 2, 3. So this is not to be taken into the, so to speak, into the SQL query. But we say we select these items where the order ID equals the top. And again, I kill the remaining part. I go to the top one and I say this is the ID. So we select the ones where the order ID of the item is the ID of the top element. Let's test this and we see, okay, there's one item selected. Now, I get confused for a short time and say we had 2 items. So why is there only 1 item? Because I have to click here that this is a list of items. It not only selects 1, but it selects also a list. So now we see 2 items, the items of the order. Good. Now we can immediately continue and say in the item there's an article and we want to see for sure the article text. So it would be a good idea to say for each item we select the article. Yeah. So right mouse click, create child. We name this child article. We go to the class article. And we say now it's a one-to-one relationship and propose query. The article has an ID and the article is exactly the one with dollar we take from the item. Let's see what we take. As usual, sorry, I go to the item and say, okay, this is the article. And we say where item dot article ID is item dot article. Let's see what the test brings. Okay, we see for each item now the article is subselected, yeah, and is available as data. Good. Save this. The structure on the right side is now updated. We see the item. Inside the item, we see the article. Inside the article, we see the article data. Now, let's continue, and things get a bit weird. I need more space, I guess. So let's get into the editor. Let's get into the body here, and the body has a band. A band is a horizontal section, so a body can contain multiple bands. Now, the grid is here, so we pull a grid into this band. So you see, always if you position things, it has to be in this drop mode. You see it, it's red marked with these red borders. This means it accepts now the grid, and here we have the grid. It's not really visible at the moment because we have to continue with definitions. So first thing is this grid has a reference to the list of items, and the reference is exactly the list of items here. You see these objects, which are multiple objects, which are list objects, are indicated by a different icon. So now we connected, so to speak, this grid with the list of items. Well, now in the grid, we can now add columns. So we take a column and we put it inside of the grid. First column. Don't get confused. Now things are a bit changed from sizing. That's pretty normal. So the column has a text, and this text, for example, I say that's the article number which we want to see. First, the next thing is inside of this grid column, we want to position a text. Yeah, we could also position a barcode or whatever. We just put a text inside. And in this text now, we position the article ID, which comes from the item data. So saving this, going to the PDF preview, we already should see 2 positions with article number 4711, 4712. Let's just continue. Inside of the grid, we just click it here, here. We put the next column. Zack. Next column would be, this is the article text. And this article text now, again, gets a text. You see, sometimes it's easier to add the text here directly here. Yeah. And then we can position the text. We can drop the article segment, there the name of the text of the article into this field, and we see that the PDF preview now should contain the article. Well, what do we see? We see that this is not really in line. So let's get back into the editor and see I put the article text here with an XY to a Y position. I just check it, the Y position. If you click multiple times, then it iterates through the hierarchy here. So the Y position is 12. So we either can set the Y position, once again, click, 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 click. Either we can set it to 0, 0 by just dropping it somewhere in the left corner. And now or we can also just do the same changes here directly in the attributes. So now doing the PDF preview, we see the article text. Yeah? And now we can play with these things. We can say, okay, the grid has a border. Let's check what the border is. We have a color code here. Let's say a black border, okay. And on the top, it should be 1. On the right, it should be 1. On the bottom, it should be 1. On the left, it should be 1. Okie doke. And save this and just PDF preview it. And we will see there's a border around the whole thing. And you can put borders around the cells and border around the content, etc., etc. What you see is you always have the form definition, and the form definition is based on the data definition. And for good reason, you can navigate here into any data aspect by pure SQL follow-ups. This means you are not bound to the data which is coming from your business object, for example, the order or item, but you can freely dive down into the data and read all the information that you need for printout reasons as text information or whatever information. You can directly embed it into your data model.